10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 17 of the WTH Breakout. I am your one of your fine hosts, Tommy, and I'm joined here with a man who survived the Tiger King last week, Wilson. Wilson, how goes it?
Oh, it's good, but I would just go with host next time.
Why?
You said fine host.
Well, fine. Hey, girl.
Yeah. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. How you been?
I'm good. I just woke up, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, with the essential businesses like, haircut places and stuff, I've seen a side of you I rarely seen today when you first logged on.
Yeah, I don't think my hair's been this long in years.
Dude, that was crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you've never known me to have hair, so I'm still the same. But when you logged on, dude, your hair was nuts. You look like Ace Ventura.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
You should grow it out as long as you can and then sell it to Locks of Love.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Why?
Because I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's like me and a beard. Like, I kind of hate having a beard sometimes. And once I shave it, I'm like, oh, I feel good. But I feel like one of those blobfish, after I shave, it's like, I don't know, I look like a fat baby.
Get in my belly!
So, yeah. Anything new on the docket? How have you been holding up? How's life up the hill? Love it seeing you in person.
Yeah, I'm still doing the quarantine thing.
Yeah.
Because apparently we haven't changed that yet, which is dumb. Because
Yeah.
our county has, but not the state.
Yeah.
Might have saw a bear last night.
Ooh, I wasn't up there though.
Huh? Yeah, I know. That's what confused me. I said Tommy, and it's all it's cool.
You're right, Tommy.
Yeah. Other than that, just hanging out.
You get any fishing in?
No, not lately.
Yeah.
I did play what's it called? Color Brain.
What
you
is
played that game?
Oh.
You haven't played that?
Never even heard of it.
It's just a game that has like little cards, and this one's Disney themed. So I played it with the kids, and it just says like Pinocchio shoes, and you have 11 color cards in your hand, or the team. You can do teams or individual. And then it'll say like how many colors there are in this item that they're talking about. And you pick the colors and put them down. It's very weird. You don't think it'd be fun, but then these things come up and you're like, oh, I got this. You throw it down and you flip it over and you're like, oh, I was totally wrong on that one.
Yeah, it's just a card game?
Yeah, it's just got little cards. That's it.
I've never even heard of it. Is it only for Disney?
Yeah. It's like I think like German game or something like that, because the regular one is in a different language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. I know, like, back when we were able to go to church, a lot of the kids were playing Uno. And honestly, I don't even know how to play Uno. I've never played it in my life. And they're playing like different styles of Uno. Like, one of them was where like you couldn't talk or something.
That's weird.
And then so you had to like use like kind of like sign language, like point and everything. And the first person who talked or whatever got like 7 cards back or something. I'm sitting here watching, like, I'm so confused. I'm horrible at card games in general. I mean, if you remember, you're the one that taught me how to play poker, and I still don't remember. Good thing it wasn't for any real money.
Oh, next time it will be.
Yeah, well, you just want my money, that's all.
Yeah, all of it.
But yeah, before we recorded here, I was I'm almost at the end of Doom. I'm at a good level right now where I think I'm at the final boss, and the game gets hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I spent an hour this morning just trying to get across like this from one platform to the other, because you gotta like jump to this portal and shoot to another portal all in one shot, and I kept dying. So I was getting like, almost rage quit, a couple times.
Yeah.
I was getting pretty upset, and then finally I got it. I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But yeah, man, just been working, watching a few shows. Started another old show that I've watched um, a long time ago that I'm trying to get my wife to watch, and she's actually kind of enjoying it now. Bates Motel, which is just everyone seems to think it's like a horror show because of the old movie Psycho, but it has so little to do with that. It's like the beginning origin story of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Then we finished Chernobyl a few weeks back. If you haven't seen Chernobyl, I think now's a good time to watch that, just because it shows there's a lot of like governmental cover up within the Soviet Union, and how they basically are fudging their numbers by saying this is how many people got affected.
Oh, kind of like China
Exactly.
right now.
Exactly.
I see.
Soviet Union was saying that only 31 people died in Chernobyl.
There was more.
Oh yeah. That's like their final number, and they're sticking to it.
Well, maybe they're not counting all the people it turned into like weird, you know, psycho zombie things.
Yeah, but do you know you could visit Chernobyl now?
That's weird.
Yeah, you could pay for like a tour, and you could go to Pripyat, which is like the little town just outside of Chernobyl power plant. And you got
That's where all the like crazy deformed zombie things live.
yeah. Well, I mean, we all played, Call of Duty. We know
Yes.
what level that is.
Yeah.
It's the town with the Ferris wheel and the little carnival.
Oh.
And so you can go visit it, and then you get tasted. You get tested for radiation before and after. Now, if you're test positive after, they make you stay. You can't leave, because radiation is like, basically contagious. So you could pass it from one person to another.
Yeah.
That's a big part of the show. And I'm like, why would you want to go there? I mean, I'm fine with. I mean, I look on Google Maps, okay.
All you people out there that are looking for a honeymoon spot.
Yeah. Hey, girl.
Hey,
Want to
girl.
get radiated? But the thing is like, I looked on Google Maps at Pripyat because I wanted to see what the town looks like now, and it looks just like you would think. It's all grown over with weeds and everything. And so I'm like, oh, there's a street view, which means someone was there doing the pictures.
Yeah.
And so then I'm doing like the little 360 thing where I'm floating around. I see just some girl sitting there like taking a selfie. I'm like, what? And then I flip it around more. There's a huge group of people, like all taking pictures in the middle of Pripyat, and they have like no masks on. It was right on Google Maps. I'm like, you guys are idiots.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do that.
No, I'll live vicariously through their pictures on Google Maps and be like, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah. Just like drop a pin somewhere and then see if any like pictures pop up. You know how people post pictures on Google and stuff?
Oh yeah, well
You can look at that.
I'm sure there's a lot. I went down a rabbit hole on that show just because I've been wanting to watch it. I mean, it has horror elements, but the horror elements isn't like, monsters. It's the fact that it's horrific what happened.
Yeah, just real life horror.
Yeah, and then you get to like see like exactly like and it just like a deep dive on the heroes who were there who were trying to stop the radiation from spreading because the power plant was on fire for so long and they had to figure out how to put the fire out. Well, you can't put water on it because then that causes like a whatever, it causes like a reaction. So they're like, well, let's put sand on it. Well, okay, well, that makes glass at that point.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out how to do it. And they had to get close to the power plant. And at one point they had to go in water underneath the power plant because it was flooding and they had to figure out how to release the water. Well, the water gets released into the river. So I didn't know any of this stuff. And I don't know why it wasn't taught because it happened in our lifetime.
Yeah. You know, Jeremy Wade?
No, who's that?
You ever seen River Monsters?
I think I've seen an episode.
You know, where he goes and tries to find these giant fish and stuff that have eaten people or something like that. He did a special where he went and fished in that river, and he had to like wear the little meter thing that tells you how much radiation there is and everything like that. But he was trying to find like mutated fish because of the disaster and everything happening there.
See the one that reaches his hands in like the cave and pulls out like a huge like monster fish and is like grabbing his whole arm?
I don't know.
I forget what that's called.
Noodling?
Noodling. Well, I don't know why they call it noodling. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Me either.
So cool. Yeah. So check out what was it called? Color Pass?
Color something. I don't even remember now.
Skip back.
Color Brain.
Color
Boom.
Brain. I was gonna say skip back 2 minutes and find out if you want to play that. Check out Chernobyl, Bates Motel. Help pass the time. If you have time to actually pass. Some people don't. Some people are working harder than others right now. But
yeah.
So let's kick this off. We're gonna get off with our get off. Fail. We're gonna start off with our world famous segment. Is it still world famous?
Yeah, actually I just checked. We had a download in Ireland.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost played the fat bastard clip, but he's Scottish, I think.
I don't know.
So or what was it? Gold member was Dutch. Was he Dutch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? So we're gonna kick it off with our world famous segment.
Beers and cheers.
Shots fired.
I know. One of these days I'm gonna just re-edit. Hey, one of these days we're just gonna get back in the studio and do it for real.
Yeah, I'm game.
Yeah, well, unfortunately your schedule doesn't line up with mine anymore because you're cool.
Yeah, way too cool.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna go see an old friend today. Not a friend of the show yet, but we've been wanting to get him out here. He is the winner of our last giveaway, our good friend Thomas Santana. So I will be dropping off his winnings later today.
His prize winnings.
And then I'll hopefully get a picture. You know what? I may not social distance myself. I don't know if I want to.
Yeah.
And I did see an old friend of the show and old member of the show the other day, Mr. Handy.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah. He looked good. The time I saw him before that, he had a beard, and now he doesn't. But we talked for a good hour, and he's doing well. And, it's kind of good to run into actual people rather than see him on a Zoom call all the time. Even though this is what I get, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I want the real thing. I'm tired of doing this.
Yeah, the studio's cool.
Yeah, studio's a lot easier too, for the edits and everything.
Yeah, because we had some issues with the last show.
Yes.
Which I don't even know what happened. It was so weird. But if you're interested in that, message me. I'll tell you. I don't think anyone really cares about that. So, Wilson, what have you been beersing?
Oh, shoot. I forgot to bring it out. Hold on. At least it's right here.
Yeah, we had so much time to prepare, and Wilson's like, I'm good. Come on, let's go. And now he's like, oh, hold on, now I gotta find it.
Yeah.
See, and he's like, oh, it's just right here, and he's still looking for it.
Not looking for it. All right, so went to good old Thin Line Brewing
Who are they?
again.
I've never heard of them.
They're a little brewery. It's over in Rancho Cordova.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Off of White Rock, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you get the chance, you should go check them out. This one is a double IPA that he just released last week. And it is called Order Chaos. And it is 8.2%. Has an IBU of 83. So very high bitterness to it. I'm going to break the rules here, Tommy.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to give this one a 5 for sure.
Oh my gosh. Hold on.
You're losing it. You're losing
I don't think
Oh, there we go.
I gotta find a better thing.
That was disappointing.
I mean, maybe I could just go,
F&A, Cotton, F&A.
Yeah. But this one, this is the style of IPA that I like.
Mm-hmm.
I like the ones that have like fruity notes in it and stuff like that. But this is more of the one like I had from Claim Steak the other day, the Sticky Nicky or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
It's very, I guess the word is dank.
I hate that word, by the way. I don't know why.
It's earthy. You get a lot of the hoppy flavor to it. It's piney. That's my style IPA.
Okay.
It's delicious.
And that one he premiered last week, I guess?
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. I like the way chaos is written on there. It's like upper.
Yeah, it's in and there's a weird little tails on the C and the O. Or the S, I mean.
Yeah, that's weird. It's almost like it's a part of like a one of the periodic table of elements. Like
Something like that.
That reminds me of that. Wow, 5 out of 5. That is something else. Good job, Scott.
Yeah.
It
was well done. Very well done.
Yeah, you're well done. And so, as we know, this segment for me has gotten really boring because I'm limited on what I'm drinking. So once again, I am drinking my blueberry pomegranate aha water, which you actually tried one this week, the black cherry coffee one.
Yeah.
You said that one was good?
Yeah, it was really good.
That one have caffeine in it?
Yes, it does. It has the equivalent to like half a cup of coffee or something like that.
Okay. Because the other one that I drink is the citrus green tea one, which has caffeine in it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It like does its job. It doesn't make me feel like I'm drinking a rock star. It makes me just feel like, hey, cool, I'm alert.
Yeah.
So, and I'm actually gotten to like these quite a bit. At first I thought I'd hate them because I'm so used to soda. And then I got these. I'm like, man, I could power these things down. I tried like a lime watermelon one the other day too. That was pretty good. It actually tasted like watermelon, which is very rare because like watermelon candy doesn't taste like watermelon. But this one tasted like watermelon juice, which is pretty good. So
yeah, I've gotten into the old sparkling waters as well. So
yeah, what bubbly?
Got this. I have raspberry, blackberry, your favorite.
Boo.
And cherry.
Yeah, I think the cherry one's the one that tastes like Robitussin.
No, it's not that bad.
One of them tastes like garbage. It tastes like cough syrup.
Oh, I don't mind it.
I really want. I know I said this before. I really want some Dimetapp. I love Dimetapp. So cool. So that's it for that segment. That segment was brought to you by MSR Arms. Man, fail.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you ruined that.
Ryan. I tried. I tried doing it. I just need to make a bumper.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was brought to you by MSRarms.com or do like MSRarms.com. do a little jingle.
You've got no cheers?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I was just jumping the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Settle down.
So the cheers, I'm just gonna I'm gonna do like an overall cheers, and then we're gonna hop back into it a little bit later as far as what we're talking about. I want to just basically cheers, and this might be somewhat controversial for some people, just the American worker the workers who want to go back to work and are out there fighting for their right to do so. That's what I want to cheers. Um, and you'll find out a little bit later why. It's mainly, just because people are tired of being at home and they're tired of having no money, and they're not asking for handouts. They're asking for, hey, I want to go back to work and make my own money so I could survive and live and provide for my family. And I'm seeing a lot of that, which is kind of reassuring to me that there's more people out there who want to earn money the right way and not the lazy way off of the government. So
Yeah,
that's
especially right now because the government's giving too much money.
Yeah.
On this unemployment stuff. It's not giving an incentive for people to go back to work.
Well, originally I heard it was supposed to be like a percentage of what you made, right? Well, yeah. I've heard stories off of some shows I was listening to of people who are working like part-time before this all happened, 1 or 2 days a week. And so they're maybe bringing home like, I don't know, $200 something a week. But now that they're on unemployment, they're bringing home 600. So they like quadrupled their amount living off of the government.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go back to work?
It's not good. It makes people too dependent on the government.
And it also, I think it, this is just my opinion. It also, I think, is a way of buying votes.
Yeah.
Because, hey, man, we'll make this so easy on you. Just remember when November comes around, who took care of you?
Yeah.
Like, man, I don't know what world they're living in, because I want to instill, good work ethic in my daughter. I want her to see what it takes to prevail, because we've had hard times, in my life, and we've also had good times. And I want to see her, and what I want her to see is
fast times
at Ridgemont High.
Okay.
The thing is, I want her to see that in order to get to those good times, you have to ride the hard times. You have to go through those times, and you got to prevail through it. And how do you do that? Well, you just pick yourself up by your bootstraps. You like, you know what? I'm not gonna throw a pity party. I'm gonna get out there and work. There's times where I needed some extra money, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sign up for DoorDash. I think I remember I told you this. I signed up for DoorDash, and I worked, I think, 1 whole week for DoorDash. I just did that just to get a couple extra bucks so I could pay off a bill that we were going to be behind on, or that we were behind on, that I needed to pay. And that's kind of where I think we need to be, and not so much dependent on just, oh, times are tough, man, I need a handout. And sometimes you need to ask for help because you literally are stuck in a place. But I feel like everyone's first go-to right now, not everyone, I can't say that, a good chunk of people's first go-to is, what can the government do for me to help me out in this situation? Not like, what can I do for myself? You got to look inward on yourself. Like, what can I do right now to make this situation better for myself? And I see a lot of people out there doing it, because you can't just open up your shop, because you'll have them coming out and shutting you down. But we'll get into that a little bit later on me seeing people actually doing that, opening up despite the orders, and what's happening. But so just cheers to the American worker, people who want to work and earn a living on their own, and just also provide for their family. I admire that. So cheers to y'all's.
Cheers.
Boom. It's a Kapuya, Kapuya. Oh, it didn't play. Come on.
It's a Kapuya, Kapuya.
Yeah. So, but before we get into that, I'll start with my thing. You said there was something you wanted to spring on me. I'll just get it out of the way. So our last episode, we were talking about the Tiger King, and what was her name again?
Carol Baskin.
Yeah. So it just was announced that who's going to play Nick Cage? Or sorry, boom, fail. Who's going to play Joe Exotic?
Nick Cage.
I pulled up my phone and I saw his picture. What do you think of that? Nicolas Cage playing Joe Exotic. Do you think that's a good choice?
They're gonna make a movie,
or it's gonna be like a Lifetime biopic?
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about, what was it? Drive Angry. Is that the movie where he had the long hair? He came back from hell to avenge his daughter's death or something like that.
Was it Drive Angry? I'm thinking of Drive with what's his name? Yeah, Drive Angry. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's like halfway there. Kind of looks like him in that movie.
Yeah, the thing is what I noticed is, you know who the actor Hank Azaria is?
No.
He does all the majority of the voices on The Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
He needs to do like a voice over for
Nick Cage
in that to get the Joe Exotic voice down.
Yeah,
because he has that. He could do that. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Like he does that little thing with his voice, and he could do it really, really well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that'd be awesome. I mean, I don't know. I mean, do we really need a Joe Exotic movie? I think the documentary is fine by itself.
It is. I mean, what's the movie going to be about? It's going to basically do the same thing the documentary did, right?
Yeah. And honestly, in my mind, the most interesting thing about the documentary was all the little side stories and just seeing the real people and everything. Not so much like, oh, who's going to portray this person, in this movie. I'm like, I feel like it's jumped the shark a little bit. I'm like, it's out there. It's one of the most popular shows ever. Let's just leave it at that. Not everything has to have a movie or even a sequel.
Yeah, that's true. I don't see the value in it, except for they're just like, oh, this is so popular, let's jump on it, try and make our own buck here,
But at the same time, Nicolas Cage is like, he'll play. I don't know what it is with that guy, but he'll play anything right now.
Yeah, he takes whatever part he can get, I think.
He's like, oh, you need me to be the tree in that school play? I'll be the tree.
Yeah.
And then he'd be, who, what, where? But it's I don't know. I heard about it. I'm like, okay, that's funny. Will I watch it? Yeah, if it comes when it comes to Netflix, I will not go pay see it. But
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm kind of over that.
Yeah.
It will be interesting though. Maybe he could look like what he looks like in Con Air.
Yeah, that's about what he looks like in Drive Angry.
Yeah.
Speaking of Joe Exotic, he's in jail, right?
Yeah.
So there's this new show that I found, and I want to get your take on this.
Mm-hmm.
And have you seen Ridiculousness?
Yes.
Okay. So that's a pretty funny show, right? All these videos and everything. There's a show that is basically the same thing as that, and it is not hosted by Rob Dyrdek.
Does it have no West Coast laughing in the corner, all annoying?
No, it's got different people in it. It's hosted by some guy named Joel something. I forget what his last name is, but apparently he's pretty famous.
Joel McHale?
He got in trouble for stealing phones or something like that.
I don't know. I gotta look it up.
I don't know. But this show is called Bustedness. And it is videos all about, or showing like people like getting busted, doing different things. And a lot of it has to do with like law enforcement stuff that they're like, somebody's like stealing an ATM and trying to get away on a city bus, that type of thing.
Jake Paul.
What?
Jake Paul. That's the host.
I thought it was Joel something. I don't know. But throughout this whole show, I'm sitting there watching it, and like he has this one like little, I don't know what you call them, little part of the show where he does this caught or not thing, and it's videos of people getting involved with law enforcement, and he'll pause it in the middle of the video and he'll look at his co-host and the audience and be like, so did he get caught or not? And they'll like guess on it, and then he'll play the rest of the video and it'll show the guy like getting out of some crazy situation and getting away.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in the audience is screaming and like getting excited and stuff, and they're happy and cheering on this guy because he got away. And it for some reason, like it struck a nerve with me, because I'm like, why are we playing these videos and giving these people who are not good role models at all?
Yeah.
We're giving them fame and then like cheering on the fact that they're doing something illegal and they're getting away with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. So I wanted your take on it.
First thing I thought of wasn't so much about that. It was about the fact that seems like a complete Tosh.0 ripoff, because Tosh does that too, where someone will about ready, like they'll jump off of like a swing and you could tell they're about ready to eat it, and he'll pause and be like, whoa, let's stop right there. And then, because you know what's about to happen, and then he'll insert some sort of funny joke, and then you'll see the person get hurt. That sounds kind of like the same idea. So one, not original. Two, there's a lot of videos like that around where I saw a video the other day of these cops were trying to detain this guy, and they're trying to put him in cuffs, and he was fighting, and people were filming and cheering the guy on because he was fighting. Then the guy ended up getting loose and ran away, and everyone's like, yeah. I'm like, why do we, I mean, when I say we, I'm not in that crowd. I'm just saying, as people, cheer on bad behavior and cheer on just total disrespect. I don't know, when did that start?
I don't know. I don't get it. And like the hosts, all the hosts, the co-hosts on there, they're all like have some type of fame for like being in trouble with the law at some point. Like one of them is, I think his name's Jeremy Meeks. Is that right? But he's famous for being like a model who got arrested for theft or something like that and was in prison for a while. And then there's a female on there, she's always talking about like getting in trouble, and another guy on there that talks about how he's gotten arrested so many times, and they kind of like they glorify it.
Mm-hmm.
So it bugs me. Like there's people, there's probably kids watching the show, and it's like I wouldn't want my kids seeing that and be like, oh look, they got arrested and they're making fun of it, making it like it's no big deal. No.
Well, what it boils down to is it boils down to the Tide Pod Challenge kids these days, where they see something because Jake Paul's a YouTuber, and I don't know exactly what he got in trouble for, but I know his brother Logan Paul got in trouble because have you seen that movie The Forest?
I don't know.
Maybe. About that forest at the bottom of Mount Fuji in Japan, where it's called like the suicide forest.
Oh yeah.
Well, he actually went there and he filmed it, and like he filmed like real dead people hanging from trees and stuff, and people were outraged by it. And so it boils down to shock value. So you could go back to CKY, Big Brother. When I say Big Brother, I'm not talking about the TV show. There was a thing called Big Brother, which was basically what Jackass is. So Big Brother was Johnny Knoxville's thing. CKY was Bam Margera's thing. And you combine both of those together, and that became Jackass. So that was the whole thing. So it was just people videotaping them doing stupid things and then getting a reaction. I didn't see very much stuff on those that were like them breaking like laws, and then like I mean, yeah, running down a street naked is definitely breaking a law, but like actively defying something and then having a crowd cheer you on and people like, yeah, it was usually like Steve-O, sitting in a porta potty and having it tip upside down on himself.
Yeah.
So it boils down to shock value. And what it is because that shows on MTV, right? Bustedness.
Yeah.
MTV doesn't have an original thought left in their brain anymore, because they're not music television anymore. They're not. There's this other show on there. I saw that for some reason it keeps popping up on my Facebook. I forget what it's called. It's like a tattoo show where you get your friend, like say you and I went, and I would choose a tattoo for you, and you don't know what it is, and then it gets revealed to you at the end.
Oh.
And 99.9 times it's usually someone tattooing a penis on someone else. And we're getting all, oh man, I can't believe you did that. I'm all, I can't believe you thought your friend was gonna, I thought you were my friend. I'm like, yeah, but dude, have you not watched the show before? So it boils down to shock value, and especially with those YouTubers, they'll do anything for their views and numbers that go up. And that's who watches those now. Is the Tide Pod challenge crew? What was it? What was the other thing they were doing besides Tide Pod challenges? I think it started out with like the cinnamon challenge. Remember that?
Yeah.
But then there's this new one. I think this guy did this on TikTok. Not as serious, but just to see how gullible the youth is. And it was a pee my pants challenge. So he would just sit there in front of the camera. Also, you see his pants just start to turn watery. And then next, you just see it like go like viral. Everyone starts to do it. I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah. Because everybody my age pees their pants. It's the coolest.
Man, I wish I had that clip. Billy Madison, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't, especially, I mean, granted, if those shows are going to be anywhere, let them be on like a paid cable where a lot of people don't really pay for cable anymore, so don't put it on normal TV where a kid has access to it. The problem is though, those things end up on YouTube, because I just looked it up and there's clips on YouTube, and everything's going to be on YouTube, even like if it's not from that show, because that video was from YouTube and just played on that show. But it's encouraging that type of behavior in
Yeah.
youth. And just like I see all the time, people post things like, like, look out for the man, don't let the man tell you what to do. And I'm like, every cop I've ever met has never really like said, don't do that, don't do that. I'm like, because I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just,
Yeah.
how's it going? I'm just friendly, I'm nice to them. The one time that I got pulled over, yeah, that guy was a jerk. Actually, the two times, the guy was a jerk. But you know what? I was cordial right back, and no one likes getting talked down to. And I don't know what went through that guy's mind or what he just came from. He probably just came from a wreck where there's a dead baby on the road. I mean, would you be in a good mood? I wouldn't.
No.
And but when you're encouraging people to like, defy, those the lawful orders, and you're part of the problem. It's just like the people that are filming, fights and yelling "World Star," "World Star, World Star." I'm like, do I watch those videos? Yeah, because if I go to a concert, which I've been to a lot, and I saw a fight break out, oh, my mind does not start watching the show. I'm watching those two idiots fight each other.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing better than watching two idiots just lay the smack down on each other, because they're both idiots and they're drunk, and it's not my job to stop it. But it's not my job to encourage it either. It could, it's like what we were talking about with like Joe Exotic or Tiger King. It's like watching a train wreck. It really is. And so um when you're watching these shows and you're seeing two people fight and then people cheering on, you're essentially watching a train wreck happen. And they that's what sells now. There's no originality. No one could come up with something cool. And so they just, like MTV basically just pirates everyone's YouTube channels and they play that as their own content. And hopefully that person will get more views on it. I mean, I won't watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculousness, I'll watch just because it's, just videos of people, sometimes they're purposely doing stunts and getting hurt, and other times they're, um, it's accident. It's accidental stuff. And I find that funny, but they're not actively defying laws when that happens.
Yeah, I hated the glorifying of what you should not do and people cheering it on. That's what bugged me.
Yeah. How long has that show been on? Is it new?
I think it's new. Like last night was the first time I saw it. So
Yeah, it won't last. It really won't. It'll just like everything on MTV, it'll go away slowly into oblivion.
yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I was talking to my buddy Brandon yesterday about this, and he's significantly younger than me. He's like, I think 25. And I'm all, do you remember VH1 Behind the Music? He goes, no. I'm like, dude, that was like one of my favorite shows because MTV stopped playing music, and VH1 is where I went and got all my history from, like finding out the behind the scenes stuff with certain bands, and like Motley Crue, Metallica, and even like bands that like I really didn't really care too much for, like Fleetwood Mac. They all have interesting stories. I'm like, oh, I never knew that happened. Then finding out about the producers and stuff, that was all cool things for me. And I'm like, we need channels like that like strictly go for music. And MTV put a lot of people on the map. But it's we live in a different era now where a lot of people's main TV source is YouTube, and they just watch things in clips. That's why you don't buy a CD. Most people don't buy CDs anymore. They'll either have Spotify, or you could go on iTunes and buy a particular song rather than the whole CD. I mean, you know how many CDs I bought in my lifetime that were like 10 songs long, but 9 out of the 10 songs sucked except for that one? I'm like, man, I could have just bought that one song for $1 rather than $10.
Yeah.
Save myself some money. So a lot of things are like a la carte now. So basically you're paying for what you want to hear. And that's what those shows like Bussedness are doing, is they're picking together these videos on YouTube. Okay, we'll take this one, this one, this one, this one, and we'll just, basically do the same thing Tosh Point oh does, and we'll start our own show, and we'll add the word ness at the end of it, just like ridiculousness, and we'll steal ideas.
Yeah.
So, I'm not too big of a fan of Jake Paul or Logan Paul. Really, there's only one YouTuber I really follow. His name's Jared Dines. He's a musician, and he's hilarious, and he's a great musician. He plays every instrument, but he also makes fun of like heavy metal bands and stuff, even though he is heavy metal, but it's all in like fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you though, dude. It's not good for the youth. I mean, something like that like would be a very good study to like study the people who watch those shows and look at their criminal record like 10 years down the road.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Because those people are going to end up with DUIs because they feel like they're invincible, and they're not accountable to anybody. So, and that's not just old man Tommy talking. I mean, that's I've always kind of been, I've always said I've kind of always been a rule follower. And it's kept me out of trouble for 99% of my life, except for that one time I got in that fight in high school. And that was a wake up call. And sometimes people just need a wake up call.
Well, let's move on to the next thing.
Okay.
This is something that I sent you. Actually, I think you saw it before I sent it to you. But this was on the It's Needed podcast Facebook page.
Highly recommend checking out that podcast, by the way.
Yeah. But I found it.
It's #It's Needed.
So this was posted posted on their Facebook page that they have their little group, and just for anybody to come on and talk about stuff. But I guess this is a letter that was sent I don't know who it was sent to, but somebody wrote this letter, and it has to do with law enforcement officers in the United States. Goes on to talk about how police officers are supposed to protect us from the scum of society and people that do harm, and protects honorable citizens, and they're incorruptible people, and people want to grow up to be police officers and catch the bad guys. And he goes on to say that's not what we have now. And he talks about police have a comply or die mentality now, and they have small egos, so they beat people up for no reason. They shoot people because they're scared. They're trying to fill quotas. Just paints a horrible picture of law enforcement and puts all of law enforcement into this group. He, at the end, he says, I got to click on it, but he says, basically, clean your house or it will be done for you. And he goes on in this whole thing. It makes me mad because he signs it, the citizens of the United States of America. And when I see that, I'm like, well, I'm a citizen.
Right.
And that is not how I feel.
Right.
And it bugs me. Like, you're just going to go out there and say, this is how everybody feels. Like, this is what's wrong with your letter in the first place. Yeah, this guy might have had a bad experience with a cop who shouldn't have been a cop. Because there are some out there like that. Right. You get that in every profession.
Right.
But he went on to take that to the next level and say, this is how all law enforcement is. This is how they run their business. This is how they have to fill quotas. They shoot people because they're too scared to be accountable for stuff. And it bugs me. Like, these people, they lump everybody into one thing because of maybe one person who's done something to him in his life.
Right. And I'm kind of glad that was posted to It's Needed's Facebook wall, because if you guys listen to any of those episodes, I think it was one of their newest ones where they kind of talk about this a little bit. And the hosts, Ryan Tillman, he's a police officer in Southern California, and AJ Johnson, or Anthony, he's a police officer in Ohio. And both those guys are just solid dudes. And like, when they say the thing about, they're lumping all police officers together, dude, those guys are like, if you're going to lump them all together, then I want to see you tell me that AJ and Ryan are like that, because they're not. Are there, like you said, are there cops out there like that? Yeah. Like in any profession, you have mean people and nice people in the world. That's just the way it is. The person that wrote that more than likely had a bad run-in, or they're just so anti-cop because it's kind of the quote-unquote cool thing to do now, is to, like, going back to bustiness, defy authority. Now, but there's also a part of me where you're like, well, how much authority are you going to take until it's too much that you need to start defying it? Well, that's going to be pretty obvious. Okay. When people are actually, coming into your house and for no reason taking your stuff, total like Nazi-esque type things, that's when you'll know. Going back to a few shows ago when we're talking about how the CHP was around the Capitol and everyone was sitting there yelling at the CHP officers, I didn't see the CHP officers really, like, pushing people down. They're just like, guys, just please back up. And they're pushing them away because they're trying to keep everyone away from the Capitol. Do I think that was a show of force? Well, yeah, obviously it was, because there's hundreds of cops there, and you got to show a show of force to get people to listen to you. That's like step number one in your weaponless defense, is, use your words before you go hands on. So if they're not doing that, then there's a second step. And that person probably had a bad run-in because they weren't listening to the first step. Are there cops out there that have small egos and they need a little boost? Yes, there are. But you said something in that letter. What was it? The thing you said a quote in there. What was that?
Which one?
The letter you wrote. I can't remember. Not the letter you wrote. The letter you read, because you didn't write that. It was you read something in there. What was that? It was not. You said it verbatim.
Clean your house or it will be done for you.
Right.
That one.
That one. So that's basically like you need to obey, or basically the way I took that is you're going to comply. If you don't comply, we'll make you comply.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is true, depending on the situation. If you're, getting pulled over for DUI, and you're not listening to the officer, and he's telling put your hands behind your back, and you're not doing it, they're going to make you comply. That's part of the process, guys. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean oh, he's in the wrong. No, you're probably in the wrong at that point, because there's a time and place to fight certain situations, and that's in the court, not on the side of the road. Okay, there's plenty of times where a judge has told a cop, no dude, you're out of line. That's stupid, get out of here. But with that letter, I'm sure AJ and Ryan are going to actually talk about it, because on the Facebook post, it got a lot of comments.
Yeah.
People were like pretty much saying what we're saying. That person had a run-in and they're not happy about it. And when you're signing that, the citizens of America, you're not signing it for me. Actor Kevin Hart said something. I don't know if he said it or if he posted it one time, and I don't know if it was reshared or retweeted or whatever, but it struck a chord, a good one. He said, not all black people are criminals. Not all cops are corrupt. He goes, stop lumping us all together. And I'm like, exactly. There's not all white people are white supremacists. So stop lumping us together. We just had, we'll probably talk about this a little bit later, not today, but I want to allow some time to pass and for a little bit more details to come out. But there was that black jogger in Georgia that got shot and killed recently.
Oh yeah.
And from what I've read, it was completely unjustified. And from all the evidence I've seen so far, it's flat out murder, based off of just nothing evidence and stuff. But I want to make sure I have a little bit more found knowledge of the situation before I speak on it. But in that situation too, I'm looking at people who are like automatically coming out and they're just like up in arms about it. And I'm like, yeah, you should be up in arms about it. But don't rush to the conclusion that just because two white guys killed that black kid in Georgia, that automatically just because I'm white, I side with those two white guys. Don't do that. Don't lump us all together. And don't sign something for me saying the citizens of America, because not everyone thinks the same way you do. Because after the protest at the Capitol, it was on, what was it, the International Day of Prayer, I think. I'm hearing noises. I think my downstairs neighbors are playing music. Sorry. But the International Day of Prayer, and people went back out to the Capitol, and the CHP now has like stanchions around the Capitol, so you can't even get to the Capitol. And they're still there, not as many of them, but they're still there. And all the people were doing was just praying for the cops, and they're holding signs saying, we're not mad at you guys. And a lot of people went up to the cops, and they don't know which cop they went up to before, because all the cops were wearing face shields. It's hard to see who they were, but they said, I want to apologize because last week my emotions were high. Like I'm passionate about this, and we're just upset. And then of course I don't think the CHP is even responding at all, like talking to them, which is could be part of the problem, because that's one thing that Ryan and AJ have a a foot up on is the fact that they actually communicate with their community, and that's a huge thing. You have to do that. But yeah, that letter, if you have the whole letter there, if you could screenshot that and send it to me, I could probably post that so people could see it.
Oh, okay.
I know, like, my letter that I'm about to read, and this will be the last thing we probably talk about, is it's too big for a screenshot because I had to cut off the bottom of it. But this kind of goes into a little bit what we've been talking about. This was a letter that our sheriff here in Sacramento, thank you, Wilson, that our sheriff in Sacramento, Scott Jones, sent. And this has something to do with basically what we're talking about, the protests, people wanting to get back to work and everything. And I'm gonna read it in its entirety because it paints a pretty good picture. It's not too long, so just bear with me. It is time to let people out of their houses and responsibly open the economy to let businesses thrive and employees and former employees get back to work. It is time to develop a plan to open all businesses. If car washes, Starbucks, adult boutiques, and pot shops have been considered quote unquote essential throughout this, really aren't all businesses essential? It is time to reflect on decisions we have made under the pretext of this pandemic, such as why we were forced to let over 1,100 inmates out of Sacramento County's or Sacramento's COVID-free jail into a community where the law-abiding are still locked down. It is time to place responsibility for hygiene and healthy practices back into the hands of the public rather than being forced upon by the government. I love that line. It is time to recognize that this year is and will continue to be tragic because of the pandemic. But that it does not mean that the next several years have to be devastated as well by economic and social ruin from continued inertia. Remember Newton's law of motion and lack of motion. It is time to understand that stay-at-home equals loss of tax revenue, and that equals significant cuts to law enforcement and fire departments next year, including potential public safety layoffs all over California and the nation. It is time to recognize that we, the people, have willingly acquiesced the loss of freedoms, loss of income, and loss of social connection for the greater good, but now we are ready to responsibly get back to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is time. Dude, that's awesome. Like, and we're pretty fortunate. This sounds really rare. Just in California, because California, we're getting hosed big time. But where we live, we're pretty fortunate to be surrounded by 3 sheriff's offices that are pretty good. We have Placer County, El Dorado County, and Sacramento County. All have great sheriffs as their head guy, and they're all on the same page, which is good. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it so when I'm just trying to think of like how government works. So you have a town, right? The town usually takes care of itself, right? Like, so let's just say Sacramento PD. Okay, so you have them, they kind of take care of themselves, but if it gets too big for them, the county steps in and helps out, right? If it gets too big for them, CHP steps in. If CHP can't handle it, then you'll have feds come in, right? So it would be like, let's just change it to like actual, legislatures. So you have your city supervisors, then you have your state legislators, and you have your, actual congressman or whatever come in and take care of that. So at what point does like someone like Newsom have over these counties, that these counties are like, dude, we have like Modoc County has 0 cases, but why are they still locked down if they have 0 cases?
Yeah, I mean, you've got Yuba and Sutter County who have opened things up.
Yeah, and then this goes right here back to my Cheers segment. There's a Texas salon owner named Shelley Luther. She defied orders, and she's like, you know what? I'm not gonna lock down. I'm tired. I want to work. I want to help people, and I'm tired of this. I'm gonna defy orders. And this is in Texas, so she defied orders, and she got like a court hearing or whatever, and then the judge was basically all up on his mighty throne, and he's like, you need to apologize for putting people's lives in danger. She's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to apologize for what I think is right. And he goes, okay, fine. You're going to go to jail for 7 days. She goes, so be it. And she went to jail. Now, the lieutenant governor, I think his name is Greg Abbott, of Texas, said, you know what? I'm going to pay your bail, and I'm also going to fulfill, this is the lieutenant governor, I'm going to fulfill your jail sentence myself. We'll switch spots.
Huh.
And I don't think he actually served jail time. I think it was like, I don't even think he did anything, but like they got her out. And I think someone overruled that judge's decision on that. And so she went back and she opened her salon again. And the first person that she cut hair was Ted Cruz. He came in there, he's like, I want my hair cut, and she cut his hair. That right there is taking a stand, people. That right there, I admire that. Because just like if history doesn't show us one thing, it's history was founded on people taking a leap. History wasn't made by people who were quiet, you know. And I'm talking about all aspects of life. So like you could talk about like Antifa. I don't agree with them, but they're part of a movement that made it into the news, and in a way kind of history, because they're the louder voice, right? It's the louder voice that's going to be heard. This is the time where people want to be heard, and they're tired of it. And it just so happens to be on a time that I actually, it's a side that I agree with. And could I see myself doing something like that, put myself in jail for 7 days? It'd be hard because having worked in a jail, it's no place I want to be. But if it's for my family, I'll do it. But that also upsets me because we have, like what Jones was saying, was 1,100 people getting released from jails, which is no fault of the counties themselves. That's like an order that they have to abide by to make room for who? For social distancing. Okay, but you're gonna throw a salon owner in there?
Yeah, I don't get that.
That makes no sense to me. I mean, like, whatever happened to those people that have zero bail? But she has to do this. So a criminal has more rights than us. And that's the backwardsness of this whole thing. And I wish we had Ryan on today, because people were like, well, why are you buying ammo? Well, people will always say, you gun hungry people. This is why right here. Not so I could go out and be a vigilante like the guys did in Georgia. Not for that. But my little home here that I have is because if someone walks through that front door who's not welcome here, and who threatens me and my family, yeah, something's going down. That's why I own a gun and why I have ammo. Not because I'm going to go out and start something. I'm going to be proactive and not reactive. I want to make sure that, I'm prepared and not caught with my pants down. That's what that's for. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out. I know there was a supervisor, I think a supervisor from Placer County, who mentioned the other day that he actually looked into the quote unquote state of emergency bill that Newsom signed for California. And based on the bill that Newsom signed, the state of emergency is technically over. So why is he still keeping everyone on lockdown? Because the bill that he signed technically said in there that at the point when this ends, it is now the county's job to regulate. If the county still want to lock down, that's up to them. They could do that. But now it's the county's job, and they're like, we're fine. We want to open back up. And why are you still holding on to this power?
Yeah, that's what I don't get, is they're treating everyone, at least in California, like they don't know any better for themselves. They can't take care of themselves. And it's like most people aren't stupid. If you say, hey, you need to make sure you're still doing social distancing stuff, open up your business. We need the economy to start getting itself going again. We need the money coming in. But you guys need to regulate yourselves. If you can't do that, then we're going to have to backtrack, and we're going to have to look at this again,
which I agree with.
Do something else. That's how it should be done. And right now it's just like he doesn't trust anybody to be able to take care of themselves. And it's like he has to hold everyone's hand through this whole thing. And it's a lot of the counties, like around here where we live, people don't want that. Like, they're ready. Like, people realize this is an issue and it needs to be taken seriously, but they're ready to get everything going again, especially now when like case numbers have dropped. Like, we're plateaued for sure. I
Mhm.
mean, you can't just, I mean, it's almost like, he likes that control.
It is a power thing, and
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. And um, I was telling, I think I was telling your wife this last night because I was texting her about me scheduling a time to come up and pick up the stuff for Santana. And I said, I'm really tired of hearing that word, are essential workers. And like I said last show, I really hate that people, will thank me for, God knows, just me doing my job. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. And the essential workers makes me feel like they're virtue signaling me without me agreeing to it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, okay, so I'm an essential worker, and everyone's praising me, but I don't think I'm better than any of those other um, jobs. Like the little hair salon on the street, I'm no different than them. I'm really. And I said, I don't think you should. Calling someone essential, I think, is kind of a slap in the face. You could say
Slap
front
in the face.
slap in the face. You can, you could say frontline because we're on the front lines of keeping everything running, but essential is kind of like, oh, you're needed or not needed. Everybody needs their job, and um I just hate that. And they're trying to act all woke with their progressive wording, essential social distancing. And what this is, and Newsom said it out loud, that he's going to use this to push some progressive ideals, just like San Francisco right now is allowing their homeless that they put in hotels. So their hotels are losing businesses now, but they're actually paying for drugs and alcohol for the homeless. And that's
That's
coming.
great.
Yeah. And I've seen both sides of the argument. People saying something like, well, you know, they're just going to die if they don't get it. I'm like, well, they're going to die if they do have it. So what better time to detox someone? What do you think jails do? Do you think when you go to jail, they're like, oh, this person's a druggie, here, let's give him some more drugs? They say, they might say methadone or something like that, but usually that's done inside of like a hospital or something. And they detox, and they usually do that in the holding cell, and it's not pretty. It is the most horrible thing to watch. And I'm like, you're enabling a behavior, and you're making people more dependent on the government, which is what they ultimately want. They don't want people to go back to work. They want to control the people and say like, hey, you know what, we'll give you $600 a week even though you originally made $200. And then that way you're just going to side with us all the time. That's government takeover. And then there was a good I'll leave it with this. I saw uh, the day of prayer that went out at the Capitol. There was someone that held a sign, and it said, "We love police, not a police state." And I'm like, that's exactly what it is. I love police. I love law enforcement, but I don't want that to be the controlling factor of the state. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good. Whoever came up with that.
Yeah. I mean, I can show you the picture right here. I mean, it's just like written in Sharpie on a thing. We love police, not a police state. And I'm like, man, that right there, that sums up what most citizens think, not what that one dude wrote. Like what most citizens think is what that person wrote. But it's a crazy time. And I tell my daughter this. I say, um, you know, pay close attention right now to what's going on, because this event is going to be in history books with your kids. And you could now say, oh yeah, I remember what it was like. And then you're going to have your own story to tell on what you experienced during this. And what you're going to experience is like, yeah, my dad, he still worked, but he also fought on the side of workers wanting people to work. not live off the government, rather than, oh yeah, man, it was chill. It was totally chill, man. I got like some cash, from the government, and they gave me money. I was in a hotel. They gave me drugs and booze. Man, it was actually not that bad. I mean, which
Yeah.
story are you going to tell your family at the end of this? Which way are you going to, prevail through it? Are you going to prevail on the side of, I'm a loser and I just let someone else pay my way? Or are you gonna be like, you know what? No, I worked hard and got what I want, and that's what you're
And I
gonna,
made my own way.
yeah, and that's what you're gonna instill in your family. And with that,
F&A, Cotton, F&A.
boom.
There it is.
I don't want to drop my mic, so I'll have to eat a Skittle.
Yeah, don't do that.
So, but man, yeah, I mean,
Carol Baskin.
I mean, this episode got into some stuff.
yeah, I mean, it's been something that's been on my mind, and a lot of the times when I'm thinking of stories, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go too heavy. I don't want to go too, or I don't want to go too heavy, or I don't want to. There's something that needs to be talked about. I just don't want to not talk about it because it's on my mind. And when I read that letter on It's Needed, before you sent it to me, and then usually once you send it to me, it's confirmed that that's something that needs to be talked about if it's something we both have recognized.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then after hearing It's Needed's last podcast, I'm like, you know what? We need to dive deep into this, because this needs to be heard from people, because a lot of people that live outside of California always say, oh, Californians are stupid. That's what you voted for. Well, hey, again, don't lump all of us in together. There's some people here that are against it. And I hate that. Yeah, majority of people here are for that, but I'm not one of them. But yeah, so this wasn't a very fun episode. I'm sorry. But I mean, if you think differently, I would honestly, I would love it if you feel differently than me or different than us, and you have a valid point, not just throwing out slogans and talking points. I want to hear like fact, and I want to hear you actually back something up. If you want to argue with me on this point, feel free. We could do it online, or you could come on the show and argue it. I'm willing to listen to people, and that's part of the problem. Is a lot of people don't want to listen to other people because I'm right, you're wrong. That's it. There's no discussions anymore, and I'm willing to talk about that. I'm willing to have an adult-like conversation to see where you stand, because I'm kind of curious. Is if you think that letting out 11,000 or 1,100 inmates who are criminals, and don't say that they're almost on their way out, because in Tulare County they released a murderer. So so don't say these people are just low-level offenders. This guy murdered the lady he was working for money, and so he's a bad guy. If you think that that's okay, but jailing nail salon people because they want to open up and work, I just want to talk to you to figure out what mental illness do you have, and B, like, what are you going to do to take care of it? Because in no world do I think that's okay. And you're wrong on all. There's nothing you could say that's going to justify that. But I want to know where you think that's okay and why.
Yeah.
So, and with that was brought to you by MSR Arms.
MSR Arms?
Dude, I don't know why I started on that.
I know.
So, but that's all I have, man.
That's all I got.
Cool, brother. So yeah, if this struck a chord with you, if you like what you hear, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. I don't, what's it called now? Is it Apple Podcasts?
I don't know. I don't do the Apple thing.
Yeah. But subscribe to us there. We also have a YouTube channel, and it's all under the Real WTH Show. We call these the WTH Breakout just because these are like little breakout sessions for us, because we're not in the same room at all.
Yeah.
Even though it might sound we are, but we're a world away.
Yeah.
We are. And so across all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, we're not really active on Twitter, but we watch it. And Untapped, you can follow us at The Real WTH Show. Then we have our phone number, 916-259-3030. Leave us a voicemail. It may be played on the air or not. It depends.
Ooh.
You can even roast us. If you if you want to roast us, leave a message. I will play it, even if it's making fun of me. Just keep it clean because I don't want to edit it. And then you can also email us at therealwthshow@gmail.com. So if I believe that's it. And until then, laters on the Menjay.
I will talk to you then, or I will talk to you another time.
Jobin.
Stop it.
I am Arnold. Chill out.
You're not the governor anymore.